I did launch my show 6 months after my son's journey, transition, but I actually had my awakening several years before my son's transition. His transition was the catalyst to have me live. You were speaking about oneness. And for me, it was one sentence in the fall of 2007 that gave me my awakening. And it was all about understanding oneness, not understanding it from the head, but a heart and soul, knowing. So it wasn't, but once I had this experience, it wasn't anything I could actually put into words because it was a knowing. It wasn't a belief. It was a knowing that we were all one, as you were saying. And it was science, actually, that gave me my awakening to oneness. I was watching, oh, sorry, there's a piece of hair. I had to get that out. I was watching a documentary film in the fall of 2007, What the Bleep. And it was all with scientists. I had just really had no idea what quantum physics was about. But there was one speaker in that documentary, and she wasn't a scientist. Her name is Lynn McTaggart. She's done wonderful work. But she said one sentence that was the catalyst to my awakening. It was that the biggest problem in the world today is the illusion of separation. And when she said that, something woke up inside of me. Literally, it was knowing that that statement she said was true and understanding the simplicity of that. When you understand that everything is connected and everything is one, you have nothing but unconditional love for everyone, for everything, for Mother Earth. Gaia is a living being. You want to just unconditionally love everyone you meet and everyone you see. So I had that knowing in 2007, and my son didn't transition to 2014. But it was when, like you had said, that you have this experience, you know it, but daily life, especially when you're a young mother, I'm raising young divorcee, raising 2 children on my own. So it's like life gets in the way of, all of the spiritual knowing that we have inside of us. So what happened when my son transitioned, I woke up 6 months after, and Spirit said, just do it. And the just do it was live this truth of oneness every moment of every day and do your best to spread this to the world. And I say all I can do is inspire others. I can't give them that awakening. Awakening is an inside job. It comes from within our hearts and soul. And awakening is a knowing. It's not a belief anymore. It's a knowing. And when you know it, you live it. So I can't ever get upset to the point that I hate somebody, or no matter what, if they disagree with me, it's fine. I always say, I'm just here to share what resonates as true for me. And I inspire others to go within, because all truth is found within. It's not outside of us. Everything I'm grounded in is also been proven scientifically. Scientifically, we know that there is truly no outside. It's all an illusion. If you put anything under a high-powered microscope, this was another awakening moment I had in 7th grade. I was studying atoms in 7th grade science, and the science teacher said, nothing is truly solid. And I'll never forget when he said that. When he said, I was like, what do you mean nothing is truly solid? Well, we know you put anything under a high-powered microscope, all you see is tiny atoms, and these tiny atoms are not even touching each other. So that means it's not solid. And then we find out that an atom is 99.99999% empty space. An atom itself is not even solid. So we don't live in a solid world. We with our limited human senses, with our sight, with our hearing, with our limited 5 senses, we perceive that we're living in a solid world, but we're not. We're in what I call the 3D matrix, which is an illusion. But the good thing, it's an illusion, it's a dream of our own creation, our higher selves, which is not separate from us. We chose, when we were all in spirit, we are all sovereign, divine beings of light. We're infinite. We're multidimensional. We're limitless. And we chose, when we were in spirit, we chose to come down to the earth and have this experience. And we're creating it. Nothing that ever happens to us is someone else doing it to us. We created it from our higher consciousness, knowing all the lives that we live, because we live hundreds, if not thousands, of lifetimes, and we choose those lifetimes. So so the important thing to understand is when something happens, like the loss of a loved one, understanding, and it's very difficult, I know, from our human senses, when a loved one passed, to understand that was that soul's time. Because this is what I knew the moment my son transitioned, that it was his soul's time, that it was a soul agreement that we both had made together. It was a soul plan we made together before my incarnation. And his work was done. That's why it was time for him to go. And it was, still time for me to stay. And so these are the things that brought me peace, even when my son transitioned. Now, it wasn't, I didn't always have that sense of peace. There was things that had brought me to that understanding, things that had happened years earlier. But for me, my message with Awake to Oneness Radio is very simple: to know who we truly are, not just a belief, but a knowing, understanding that there is no separation. It's all God. It's all good. We as humans like to label things bad or good when it just is. What it is frequency. Again, going back to the science, everything is energy. This has been proven scientifically. Everything is energy that vibrates at a different frequency. So some things vibrate at a very high frequency, like love, unconditional love, which is the highest frequency. And then some things vibrate at a very low frequency. It's like fear and hate, which is a very low frequency. So it's what we resonate with, our frequency, our core frequency, is what is creating our life experience. So we only experience that we're frequency match to, but also that we planned before we came here. Every challenge that we have in life is our greatest blessing, because the challenges are to help us to remember, to wake up and remember who we are. And that's what near-death experiences have. They have these challenges, and then they experience the oneness. That's the one thing I love about IANDS. So when I first discovered IANDS and went to...
Excuse me, Caroline, you've got the 1 minute warning. You asked me to give that to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, when I went to IANDS to their conference in Philadelphia in 2019, it was the most amazing conference I ever went to, because most of the people there have experienced, like you, experience the oneness. And when you experience it, it's something you can't forget. So all I felt was love, unconditional love. And that while I will always be connected with IANDS, because these are people that know the oneness. So thank you so much.